Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, we got a brand new update in Warzone and MW2, the 1.23 update. And while this is largely to prep for the Warzone reveal event happening tomorrow, we also got some brand new patch notes with this update as well that include some bug fixes, a lot of weapon changes as well, so some meta updates here and there. Lots to break down as we get into it all. If you guys are new here, every single day, I got you covered with everything going on in COD, news, updates, all the reveal information and announcements for MW3 obviously in the coming days. So definitely make sure you are subscribed with those noties turned on to stay up to date. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It would be really appreciated. But getting into the patch notes here, the Wednesday, August 16th update. For general, this patch contains necessary updates and content for Shadow Siege. Beware, there's probably gonna be some leaks in regards to the event. You may want to stay off socials, but follow me on Twitter first at WhosImmortal, but you may want to stay off socials if you don't want the event spoiled. Also, I should mention that this update does require a title update. As mentioned, it's the 1.23 update, so everyone is going to have to download this. And if you want to take part in the event tomorrow, you have to have this update downloaded. So if you're planning on taking part in the reveal event, be sure to get this update, downloaded, leave your PlayStation on or your Xbox on or whatever, if you're headed into work or school, so that you have this all ready for tomorrow with the event. Also, weapon tuning. The benefit of tuning for recoil control related stats has been reduced slightly. Getting into some general bug fixes. So this is between multiplayer Warzone DMZ. They fixed an issue where some players cannot access the battle pass but would still lose COD points after purchasing it. Obviously an annoying one. Fixed an exploit allowing players to go prone instantly. There was like sort of a movement bug where if you put a few inputs together at the same time, you would go from standing to prone in like one frame. Kind of broken for obviously staying on target, so they've gone through and fixed that. An issue where akimbo challenge progress was not tracking correctly for the FTAC Siege. Pretty basic there if you were trying to unlock that one. An issue where an invisible object could interact with lethals, tacticals, and explosives on Mercado Los Almas. Fix an issue affecting keybinds when adding settings as quick settings. An issue where the buttons for preview and quick equip hide when trying to press them by mouse inputs in the event tab. An issue where the Tonfa melee had outdated unlock conditions. An issue where the SFX for the Semtex dropped by the chain reaction modifier in Havoc would not play as intended. And then also an issue where the Battle Buddy AI gun screen would cause an error. So just a handful of smaller bug fixes here and there. Getting into the weapon adjustments here, there are some important ones. So the following weapon and attachment changes are reflected in Warzone only. So Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer is not really changing here, but weapon balancing for the rifles on the Chimera. The mid damage has been increased, so that's a nice little buff there. The neck damage multiplier was increased, upper torso damage multiplier increased. So the Chimera gets a buff all around, gonna be even more effective as a sniper support option now. For the FR Advancer, maximum damage decreased surprisingly there. So that's going to be a close range damage nerf there. Close damage or close to mid damage increased, however. Head damage multiplier increased. Same deal with the neck damage multiplier. And then also the torso multipliers as well. So its close range gets a little bit worse, but also its mid range is going to be more effective. And in general, upper body shots are going to be more rewarding there. So mainly a buff there for the most part. On the Lockman 556, they actually buffed the headshot damage multiplier. That's nice to see there for sure. On the M16, they actually buffed it. Maximum damage was increased. So that's the close range damage. The close to mid damage was also increased, and the limb damage multipliers were increased. For what it's worth, the M16 has had, like, on paper, a really fast TTK for some time, but the gun is so bad in application and in game that it just doesn't matter. So I have my doubts that this is going to actually do anything major for the M16, but it might not be as hot of garbage as it is right now. So I guess there's that. For battle rifles, the FTAC Recon, the maximum damage has been increased. So that's the close range damage. Maximum range has also been increased for that first damage drop off. On the 7.62, they increased the limb damage multiplier. So the fastest TTK gun in the game with the full auto 7.62 is now even better, even if you're hitting limb shots. That's kind of a surprising buff there, I won't lie. On the SO14, the head damage multiplier was increased. Same deal with the neck multiplier and upper torso. So if you're hitting upper body shots on the SO14, they've been buffed, and that'll be more rewarding now. The TAC V has gotten some adjustments. The maximum damage has been decreased. So that's going to be its close range damage being nerfed there. The close to mid damage was decreased, minimum damage decreased. So all damage ranges, the damage is going to be worse now. The neck multiplier has been decreased. Upper torso damage multiplier decreased. Same deal with lower torso and limb damage multipliers. So damage nerfs all across the board for the TAC V. If I had to guess, that probably makes it a little bit less ideal now and probably knocks it out of like the top meta, just because it is one of the faster TTK guns in the game, but with high recoil. Now it might just be decent for TTK, but still have that high recoil, so the risk is not always worth the reward there. For marksman rifles, on the MK2, mid damage increased, minimum damage increased, upper torso and lower torso multipliers increased, limb damage multipliers increased. So some buffs all around for the MK2. Still probably not going to be anything all that crazy if I had to guess. For shotguns on the Expedite 12, the mid damage was increased, the mid to far damage increased, close to mid damage range increased. So some buffs make it a bit more effective over range, but it's still not anything all that crazy. None of the shotguns really are outside of the broadside. The Lockwood 300, close to mid damage increased, maximum damage range and close to mid damage range also increased. So all buffs there as well. But of course, you only have 2 shots with this, so obviously it's not going to be all that rewarding. If you miss one, you're probably going to be in the gulag. Then on the MX Guardian, close range damage buff, close to mid damage buff, mid to far damage range nerf. So interesting changes there. For SMGs on the Fennec, the close range damage was actually buffed, the close to mid damage was buffed, and the minimum damage was buffed. So the Fennec got a few buffs all around. Maybe it'll be a little bit more worthwhile now. I still don't ever see it truly, you know, going back into the meta. However, just because it doesn't have enough ammo with its fire rate to keep up with the health updates and the TTK increase from a bit ago. So it'll be a little bit better, but probably not anything that game breaking. For snipers on the Signal, they actually nerfed the neck multiplier. So if you hit that hitbox, it'll do a little bit less damage, and the upper torso damage multiplier. So they really want you hitting headshots with the Signal. Otherwise, it's not going to be as effective. They've also changed some attachments, just one attachment actually, on the ISO Hemlock with the 300 Blackout. The close to mid damage was nerfed and the mid damage was nerfed. So probably not going to be as worth using that, but it really wasn't all that worth it from before. We also have more bug fixes specifically for Warzone here as well. So here they fix an issue preventing some players from entering DMZ, an issue where PS4 players would experience a game freeze in certain parts of the map, an issue where buy station icons could display on the TAC map during Battle Royale pre-games, an issue in DMZ where the TAC map image could display on the ground near Quarry, an issue where players became stuck in an ATV near a UAV tower, an issue that caused players' screens to remain affected by a plutonium element despite not being near it, an issue where players would be kicked for being idle in Vondel Lockdown. That was actually going to be back in the playlist update as well, it seems like, and then also an issue for ranked play where the top 250 button was locked. So mainly this update is weapon changes, which is interesting to see. I think the main change you'll see out of this is that the TAC V might not be that #1 go-to gun over range anymore. Still probably going to be decent, but definitely not as rewarding as before. And then everything else just kind of gets some, you know, buffs to make it a bit more competitive. The Chimera now definitely enters the conversation more with sniper support. Overall, a pretty solid update though, and that's going to wrap things up. So if you guys enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It would be really appreciated. And if you're new here, you want to guarantee you're always up to date with literally everything going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications to always stay up to date. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.